Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. How you guys doing today? And guess what? How is Lupita doing today?
I'm doing good. It's a little chilly in here, but I'm powering through it.
You know, it's always chilly in here.
I know, that's why I always bring a jacket.
You know, except it's always chilly except when the air conditioner stops working, you know?
That's true. You got to be grateful for what you got.
You know, and that's how it is. How was your week, my dear?
It was good, just full of, homework and papers and projects. Just, it's getting down to my final weeks in college. So kind of looking forward to it, but I'm kind of scared at the same time.
You're scared? What are you scared of?
I don't know. Just it's, I guess, quote, the real world now. I've been in school since I was like 5 years old, and now it's just stopping.
You know what is so funny? I so wish I was young again. I so wish I could do all those things again. But you know what? That's what it's all about. But we are going to have a great show today. We are going to make sure that we make a better world for you, Lupita, for my daughter, Lupita, and for all you young Gen Zs and you millennials and everybody else. Because, we kind of did the damage to it. I think we are kind of responsible for
fixing it up.
Fixing it. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
So folks, that's what we're going to do. We are going to make life better for Lupita. We are going to make life better for all these young folks now who should have the same kind of life that we had.
And I speak on behalf of my generation. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you are welcome, but we are just doing our duty. We are going to have a great show for you today. And it's going to be based on a conversation that I had yesterday at the gym. And, it is interesting because I talk a lot. I'm in Starbucks. I'm in other coffee shops. I'm in the grocery stores. My ear's always going. And if I hear something, I am going to react. If I hear something political, I am going to react. And that's what I kind of did with this guy here at the gym. I'm gonna, I'm not going. That is a blog of the week, so I'm not going to tell the story. I'm just going to go into what the start the program, and it goes like this. And by the way, folks, this is a call-in show, and please call in early so that we don't get that thing where we catch you all at the end. The telephone number is 713-526-5738, and I've been told that I speak kind of fast, so I'm going to go a little slower. 713-526-5738. And you know who says it a lot better? What's that number again, Lupita?
713-526-5738.
Absolutely so, folks. 713-526-5738. Give us a call. Anyway, folks, the title of the show today is Do Not Give Up on Engaging the Other Side. And which is the other side? The right. We need some of them. We do need some of them. It's easy to throw one arms up in the air and completely give up on engaging the right because we perceive them as irrational. But consider another reason for said perception. Okay, I rarely give up on anything I set out to get or do. It is a trait that served me very well over the years, and one of my goals is to attempt, in my small way, to empower others to adopt that protocol. Always be ready. Go get it. Go take it. Go get it. Never give up. I mean, that sounds sometimes like cliche. I've never made that a cliche. I've always taken, legally, of course, everything that is due me. I work for everything that is due me. And I think a lot of us do, and a lot of us need to be empowered to do that.
Preach.
Anyhow, I like that. Preach. Anyhow, it is essential because it is the modus operandi of plutocrats. You know, people sit back there and say, why do they do these things that they do? Why do the plutocrats? Why do the Because it doesn't matter that they're good or not, right? People who have the mentality that says, I am going to take what is mine. I am going to take what I deserve. And even some who will say, I am going to take what is yours. It is a mindset. And it's a mindset that if we all adapt benevolently, everybody by design would be forced to be fair. And if everybody is fair, we can have a real society that move forward. So it is essential because it is the modus operandi of plutocrats. And absent us having that behavior, they will win, because winning means just waiting us out. If folks know that you can't last, if folks know that eventually you will cave, if folks know that, they just wait you out. And that's what the plutocracy has been doing to the American population. Every time we go ahead and we jump in the streets and we argue and we say we want this and we look like we're strong. The Occupy movement. Every single movement, what have they done? They've just waited us out. People, that's what they think of progressives. They just wait us out. While the right, they indoctrinate the right, they wait out the progressives because they think we are not going to hold our position. I am here to tell you, people, if it is up to those of us out there busting our butts, these great activists throughout Harris County, these great activists throughout the state, these great activists throughout the country that has been persistent, and I can name you quite a bit right here in town, that they are not going to let up. If you are their backbones, if you are there on their side, even if you're not out in the streets with them, but if you have their backs, the plutocracy will know. They will know they can't wait you out. And if they can't wait you out, what do they have to do? What do they have to do, Lupita?
I don't know.
They got to give in.
It's true.
They will have to give in. Not we are the ones who are going to give in. They will have to give in because guess what? There are more of us than there are of them.
Yeah, we outnumber them.
We outnumber them. And we are the good ones. We are the folks who are doing the work. We are the folks who are making things happen. Why do we always relegate it to some rich guy who sits down and pulls the strings? Have you ever sit down and wonder, okay, just because this guy has several $1 million, he is entitled to things. He's entitled to tell the engineer who creates things, the scientist who knows things, the doctors who save things. Because this guy has cash in his pocket and capital, he has the right to dominate all these other people who are the ones who can keep society moving. That doesn't make any sense to me. But we have been indoctrinated into believing that is how things are supposed to work. But look, folks, please, I want so get on my mailing list, egbertowillies.com. Please, egbertowillies.com or politicsdoneright.com. Because you know what? We have to empower ourselves and look at things through a different lens if we are going to make a change. Because the way we were taught to feel subservient. Lupita, you should be subservient to absolutely nobody. Nobody. Because each of us have our own intellect, each of us have our own worth, and each of us are a part who provides to this society. And that guy who has $1 billion, it's not him that earned that $1 billion. Remember that.
It's very true.
It's not him who earned it. We earned it, and that's the excesses that he didn't pay or she didn't pay us that he's living by. Imagine if plutocrats knew that we would be relentless until we, the majority, won. But to do that, we need to build up the masses. And that requires the inclusion of the right as well. Folks, only have the semblance of being to the right. Those folks only have the semblance of being to the right or center. They think they are, but you poll them. Polls continuously defy the false notion, even if voting does not. So yeah, they vote to the right, they vote to the center. But when you ask them what they want are the things progressives are preaching. What they want are the things progressives are offering. What they want are the things that any human being would want. But they're taught to believe cannot be. We have a lot of work to do. And while to do, it's going to take a whole lot, man, we can actually do it, but it will require, and this is where a lot of my leftists kind of break with me a lot of times. Like, Berto, I'm not talking to those folks. I can't deal with them. They're crazy. They're irrational. Brother, sisters, let me tell you something. Remember what I tell you. You take what is yours. You get what you must. You do what you must. And what we must as well is we have to remember that those people on the right, whatever mentality it takes you to engage the right, you must do. And I'm going to get some few people that may call me and say, are you crazy? But you know what? That's what I intend to do.
We'll get those call-ins. Remember, guys, 713-526-5738. All the lines are open. I'm waiting to answer these phones.
She's waiting to answer the phones. They're waiting for the blog of the week, which I haven't done yet. But anyhow, let's get the program started. Before I go to the program, I want to remind all our listeners that KPFT is a bastion of intelligent voices and programs. As a political activist myself, my favorites are Think Wing Radio with
Mike Honig on Mondays at 3.
And then we have Open Journal with
Dwayne Bradley and the crew, Mondays at 6 p.m.
And Jazz Latino, Afro-Cuban Latin Jazz at its very best with
Juan Flores, Tuesdays at 12 noon with myself as well.
And who is yourself again?
Lupita.
Lupita. She hangs out with Juan before the show. And then there is Jenner Asian Radio, a weekly radio program featuring an eclectic mix of Asian underground, Bagra, Bollywood, funk, Hindi, high, where ancient sounds meet future beats, and that is
Tuesdays from 4 to 6.
Right after this show gets me home with the beat. And then we have Really But Not Really, a hip-hop and R&B party show.
Wednesdays at 10 p.m. by Rosemount.
And I'll close with Border Radio, Best of Americana Music, featuring
Suzanne Darrow at 4 p.m.
Absolutely. So anyhow, folks, check out our full schedule at kpft.org, where we can find programming from music to politics to medicine to the eclectic. KPFT is a listener-supported public community radio station. So please remember that if you like what you hear, visit kpft.org and ensure we remain a strong, viable community radio station that provides news, programming, and information not influenced by whom?
The corporatocracy.
That's the corporatocracy. We don't want that. Anyhow, folks, let me tell you, I got to get to the next segment of the program. I'm going to read it real fast because I want to hear from you. So don't forget, the number is 713-526-5738. Again, that is 713-526-5738. So I am going to go to the blog of the week. So do you know what time it is?
It's time for the weekly blog post.
Okay. This blog post is actually on fire, not only at my website, egbertowillies.com, but at dailycoast.com, which is the largest liberal blog, liberal website in the entire country, dailycoast.com. And it's funny, I'm going to try to remember to read one of the comment from a woman who responded to the blog. But anyway, I'm going to read it a little fast because I want to get you guys involved as well. Anyhow, the title of the blog, My Confrontation with a Republican Praising Trump Dumping Asylum Seekers on Sanctuary Cities. I go to the gym several times a week. I usually stay in my zone, blasting KPFT 90.1 FM morning shows, The Attitude with Arnie Arneson, the Thom Hartman Show program, and Democracy Now! With Amy Goodman. Usually I do not hear any of the surrounding conversations. My piece is normally blasting in my ears, you know. Thom Hartman was talking to several callers who complained about the effectiveness of the right-wing media converting their friends and families into paranoid right-wingers they did not recognize. My Bluetooth earbuds died as Democracy Now! Was starting. As I did some butterflies, I overheard a right-wing Republican man speaking to a receptive man. And this is what he said. He said, I love what Trump is doing, the Republican said. Send them all to those cities. They're sanctuaries anyway. Let them deal with them. Man. By the way, you guys know I'm from Central America, so I am an immigrant. Yeah, I came with my papers, right, all that good stuff. But still yet, I have an empathy for my Central American brothers and sisters. I'm from Central America. And I know deep inside what America has done in Central America that has created a lot of the problems that we have there. But that's beyond the scope of the show today. My blood started to boil. The Republican kept on escalating the rhetoric as he demeaned these immigrants, these asylum seekers. I could take it no more. I walked up to the man and looked him sternly in the eyes. It seems to shock him initially. Do you know how inhumane you sound? I asked. After stuttering for a while, he gave me the standard cop-out answer. I don't have any problem with these people, he said, but we must first change the law. We must have laws, not open borders. I told him that humaneness superseded laws. When people are in dire straits, we must act humanely first and adjust rules later. He touched on crime, and I reminded him of several important logical conclusions that Fox News taught their viewers to ignore. And here are these things that Fox News viewers pretty much tell them to ignore, right? The majority of undocumented immigrants want to do nothing to attract any attention that could get them deported. As such, they commit less crimes and do not vote. So when you hear about, the legal immigrant voting, you think that guy's crazy? He ain't going to no voting booth. He doesn't want to get thrown out of the country. And that's the easiest way to get thrown out. He's going to try not to commit crimes. You know why? He don't want to interface with a cop. It's illogical. Fox News has taught its people how to be illogical, to disregard human behavior. While the next point I pointed to him is, while the European settlers came here, killed those who helped them survive initially, conquered the land, stole the property, and enslaved an entire race to create a fast-growing economy, the asylum seekers only want a life of peace and a job. That's all they want. They didn't come here to conquer the land. They didn't come here to kill people. They didn't come here to annihilate all the current inhabitants. They just wanted a job. Shouldn't the need for atonement demand more from us? Shouldn't we want to really help other people just to atone, to ask for forgiveness for the cruelty that we've done in the past? People like him, it's third item I told him, people like him who profess higher morals should consult the Bible and the words of Jesus Christ and ask if his behavior would mimic their own. And I'm a humanist. I'm not a Christian. I'm a humanist. But I can empathize with Christians. And I find it ironic that more Christians now, under the title of the evangelical sect, are some of the most evil supporting the most evil sect policies. Very important. So if you're a religious person, if you are an evangelical person, listen to my words. Listen well, my brothers and my sisters. Jesus, if all of that Christian thing you believe in is real, you by far are not doing what's right. During the entire conversation, I was firm but not rude, and nor did I raise my voice. My approach elicited a similar behavior from the Republican. It was clear that no one has ever confronted him in the manner that I did. I created an environment where he deservedly was on the defensive, but most importantly, I did not allow an escalation into a shouting match. While he spoke, I listened intently, and in this case, I did not have to ask him to reciprocate the behavior. In other confrontations, I have had to ask for the same respect in listening that I afforded. Look, I am sure I did not change this Republican's basal way of being, but I do know I planted seeds that any thinking human being, however ideologically compromised, will have cemented in their brains, whether they acknowledged it or not. After going back and forth for about 20 minutes, we shook hands. He thanked me. I wondered if he realized he did that. Anyway, I did not react. I gave him back a back slap. We smiled, and then I took off. These are perilous times. The right is always ready to confront and bully. We must do the same for the soul of this country. Most people are good, but ideologically empty and rudderless. Whoever is more effective in filling that vacuum wins. Progressives, we are the ones with the verifiable truth. We must fill the voids. But more importantly, for voids filled with poison, we must blow it out of there. Brad, I'm coming to you next. Folks, the telephone number is 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. And the lines are wide open. Brad, you're on.
Hey, brother, how you doing today?
All right, my friend. Talk to me.
That Congresswoman Omar.
Yes.
Is that her name?
Yes.
And she said some people did things. Do you think that was insensitive?
If I think that was what?
Insensitive when she said about 9/11. Some people did things.
Right. Tell me.
Are you going to say that what she did was insensitive and she should apologize?
Before that, Brad, I can. First of all, I don't think it was insensitive, but I want you to tell me why you think it's insensitive. But beforehand, Brad, I want to tell folks, Brad is the only person that's on the line right now. 713-526-5738. I'll get to you quickly. 713-526-5738. Okay, Brad, I don't think it's insensitive. I want you to tell me why you think it's insensitive.
Well, let me ask this: if I said that what Hitler and what the Nazis did, they went a little overboard. Mm-hmm. Would that be insensitive? I think it would be.
Well, if you said it like that, I mean, look.
Or what about the what if I said this? So, the federal government, how it treat, the federal government could have been a little nicer to the American Indians.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, we stole their land, we killed them, and all that good stuff. Right? It could have been a little bit nicer. Isn't that insensitive?
No, Brad. Let me tell you what I would like you to do, because I blogged a very long blog on this issue, and also what I did is I didn't jump the gun. I went ahead and I went to the video and I made sure that I want to tell you a quick story. Bear with me here. Back in 2010. There's a woman called Shirley Sherrod, okay? Shirley Sherrod said something about how, something that she did with white farmers, right? She's a black woman. And Obama had been in office about 2 years or so. And after I was one of the a very active CNN reporter then. And when we always wanted to make sure that, especially with a black president, that there was absolutely no way racism was going to be tolerated on either side. So I did a video, and I really gave her a very hard time on how wrong she was. And then about a day later, it came out that Breitbart had doctored the video or cut the video incorrectly, and I felt so much remorse. I went ahead and did a new video and got CNN to put it back on air as well. And what I'm asking, the reason I brought that story up, because I was so wrong. I was so wrong in jumping the gun and taking what the person said out of context. So unless you have listened to what the speech was, not the snippet that was cut out, unless you listen to the entire speech, I'm going to ask you to reserve judgment. And because it was a very uplifting speech, it was a very American speech, and it was a very anti-terrorist speech, and it was a speech that says we Muslims are Americans as well, and for what happened on 9/11, that should not have changed how we were treated, etc. I want you to go to my website, egbertowillies.com, and I tell you what, you can go ahead and do that to check that video out, and then come back and call and see if you'll have the same attitude that you're having right now.
Hold on, I listened to the actual snippet on Democracy Now, and Democracy Now is not Fox News, okay?
Yes.
And I thought it was rather insensitive.
Let me tell you, here's this. The topic of discussion had nothing to do with that topic. The topic of discussion that she was trying to get across is a mistreatment of Muslims because of what other Muslims did. Okay, and that is the whole issue here. The mistreatment of Muslims, and one of the videos that I did with regards to Ilhan Omar is something that every person that's I don't like using the word minority, but I'm using it because I can't think of a person of color. Every person of color go through is the following. We have a thing that because of the way the majority population in America has dealt with people of color, that whenever something bad happens by the hands of a person of color, the first thing you think is, I sure hope that person wasn't black. I sure hope that person wasn't Muslim. I sure hope that person wasn't Latino. Because of the burden, the same kind of burden that you're putting on Ilhan right now. So what I'm telling you about, Brad, is this. I want you to check your heart. I honestly want you to check your heart, and I want to tell you that I placed a video on my blog of Brother Bush, George W. Bush, saying a similar thing about the 9/11 massacre, the 9/11 terrorist attack. And nobody jumped on George W. Bush because it wasn't in the context to use and saying those terrorists who blew down those buildings. It was in a different context. So
he said folks did this act. He didn't say they did something.
Sir.
I understand what you're saying. Hey, but here's something else.
It's Brad.
How come this year we've heard more about reparations than all during the Obama administration?
Because they're pandering. That's why, okay? That's what you wanted to hear from me, and it's true. They're pandering because none of these guys are going to go out there and fight for reparation. Not one of them. So you and I going to agree on that. It's pandering. Mm-hmm. Now it's something that needs to be done, but those guys talking about it in the sense of an election to me means nothing. Okay.
Okay.
So I think you're agreeing with me right there.
No, you're agreeing with me. You actually stumbled into the truth.
Okay, Brad. You know what? Right. You know how I am. If that's the way you want to look at, brother, you do it. You keep listening, you keep calling, and you make sure and keep your ears on because I'm going to turn you into a progressive, brother.
One of these days, maybe.
You take care, all right?
All right, bye-bye.
Have a good one. All right. All right, come on in, James.
Thank you, Alberto. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Take my call.
Yes,
Listen, reparations.
Yes.
I've recently just understood what reparation. I'm black.
Yes.
I don't have to tell you that, but what is really
actually
about,
you do have to tell me that.
I understand now why we should get it, but we shouldn't get it now because now what I don't understand is what reparation looks like.
Okay.
What is set up? What is even talked about?
Right.
About now, they give into it and do it. Now what's going to happen?
I'm on it.
Confusion. But anyway, there's something else I want to say.
Yeah, but I want to talk about that reparation things, okay, because it's a complicated issue. I'm a black man, okay? I'm a Latino, but I'm from Panama. There's no reparations for me. How do I differentiate myself from a born American who was a descendant of American slavery? You know? So, I mean, it gets very complicated. My thing is I have definite thoughts on reparations, right? I don't think anybody has analyzed all the permutations of reparations and what that would mean. It's not a close knit thing like it was, let's say, with the Japanese, etc. But that's another subject. That's another subject.
Okay.
So make your other point, my brother.
Okay. My other point is, listen, you are in how can you expect change when the leader is acting in a way that is not leading to change? And I'm picking on you now because it's like you're operating in this zone where most Democrats and progressives are operating in.
Okay.
We are in a reactive position.
Right.
That's why the Republicans, they are so powerful.
Right.
Because they learn how to keep the proactive position. In other words, they'll throw a bone out there for the American people, and we'll chase after that bone.
Right.
They control the narrative, and they stay there.
Okay.
They'll say stuff, stupid stuff, and the only thing they'll do afterwards is they'll say, "Oops, I'm sorry." But what I'm getting at, my point of it, Egberto, it's like we're not changing. We're not learning. We can't change until we learn.
Right.
Okay. So, and then when we do learn, why won't we change? Because we won't act.
Let me ask you. I think you're saying. Tell me what's your beef with what I said, because I want to make sure that it didn't go across incorrectly.
My beef is not what you're saying. It's why you are saying it.
Okay.
You're reacting to how the Republicans, conservatives won't. They want control. So in other words, they control the narrative. They make us always be responding instead of being. They make us react instead of being proactive, and that's the way we live.
And you know what? I
so
agree.
How are we going to achieve power or any kind of control?
I agree with you 100%. I still don't see from what I said where you get that I'm reacting to them.
All right,
Because,
let me
yeah.
because I wanted to get your attention.
Yeah.
I got your attention.
Okay.
Now you more focus on how you got mixed up in as opposed to the point I was making.
Okay.
You see, so that's what we do. We get caught off now with this. If Trump released these people
Right.
Into the sanctuary cities, why aren't we just saying, "Oh, what if he just fool enough to do that?" Well, why don't we just be prepared just in case? In other words, open up the Astrodome. Be prepared to open it up and receive these people. Be prepared to organize these churches who really so silent on everything. The only time they take interest in anything is on Sunday.
Right.
But, and you're right. I believe you're a humanist. God made humanists before he made so-called Christians.
Right.
Because the disciples were the first Christians, and they didn't call themselves Christians.
Exactly.
They were called Christians.
Yeah.
So it's just demonstrating on what you are, not saying what you are.
I agree with you. James, I hear what you're trying to say. I hear what you're trying to say, and I try, and you're correct. I try not to be reactive, and I try to be the one pushing the agenda. When I say me, I don't mean Egberto pushing the agenda. I'm talking about our progressive values pushing the agenda, and I try to do that. If and when I fail on these particular issues, you call folks out and you say, "Hey, well, you probably shouldn't have been X, Y, Z." I didn't get that exactly from you, but I know you're going to get to me some other time and let me know specifically what you mean.
Okay.
Unless you know specifically what you're saying right now.
My specific point, Egberto, is you have answers. That's why you're in the position that you're in. That's why we're listening to your
and I appreciate that.
voice.
Yes.
And so it's like we have to hold. Everybody has to be held accountable.
Right.
So what I'm doing, holding you accountable to be greater than what you are putting on the table.
I got you, brother. And you know what? And let me tell you something, James. You keep doing that because you're going to make me reevaluate myself every day, which everybody should be doing. So thank you very much for calling, James. I got a full set of lines right now, and you keep listening, you keep calling, and thank you for your call, brother, okay?
Thank you.
Take care now. All right, let's go to línea número 3. Come on in, William.
Talk
Talk to me.
Yeah, you were talking about the fact that, well, you didn't say the word. The word is that the Republican platform is so hypocritical when it comes to religion.
Yes.
That it's a joke. But I got one simple point to make here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what it is that the Bible says about secrets is there are no secrets.
Well,
And you know that secret society that the Bush family were involved with when they were in college called the Skull and Bones?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, if you want to get their dander up, bring that up, and then bring up the stuff I talk about, which you know from, you know what happened in Central America and South America.
Right.
Naomi Klein, the shock doctrine. That happened to me right here in the United States.
That's true, William. I remember you telling me the whole story, and actually I looked that story up that you spoke about with the drugs coming in from Central America, and by gosh, it's documented.
Yeah, exactly. But nobody wants to talk. This is what the immigration was all about. They set up all these dictatorships. I mean, I've talked to people that were the active military people that were stationed in the Gulf. They had paperwork put in front of them that said they disavowed being there. Then they were told to go into these fields and murder these people because they were communists and terrorists. Then they took over the drug labs, and then tanker planes showed up, and these people in uniforms got off the plane. Their superiors that were in charge of them ordered them to load all the cocaine and all the money onto the tanker planes. And in the beginning, it was headed right for South Central L.A.
Brother
and
William,
that's where I was at.
And I know you're at. And I know you're that. That's what we covered. And every time you call, we cover that particular thing. So I have to go to
not every time I call.
Half the time.
I try to give you some ammunition, you know, for the secret thing. You know these people are total hypocrites.
William,
you already know that.
Yes, I do. And William, thank you for all your support, because you do always call in. And like I said, I have the best.
Well, I try to keep it short and then throw stuff out there so other people can talk about it too.
All right.
But I mean, the key to what I'm talking about, there's a lot of people that are my age. Well, I'm 69. That were in during the Vietnam era, and that are younger, that were in during the Iran-Contra thing, and a lot of them are dying, you know what I mean? Because they got cancer or whatever. And the title of the story that I have is Amnesty.
All right.
I
got to go.
International and domestic terrorism.
I got to go. Thank you very much, William. I appreciate your call. And that stuff about silence is
later.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's go to line numero 4. Come on in, Jason.
Hey, Egberto. How's it going?
I'm doing great. Talk to me, my brother.
Hey, I just wanted to say, in regard to that first call about Ilhan Omar.
Yes.
I'm a disabled veteran of the Iraq War, and if you're offended by someone did something, but not offended by Trump grabbing women by the pussy, I mean, then you need to grow up. If what Ilhan Omar offended you, what Ilhan Omar said offended you more than what Trump says, then you just need to get out of politics.
You know something, Jason, first of all, you're correct. But, you know, if you look at the blog that I wrote for this one at egbertowillies.com, what I said is what everybody knows. This is what we call manufactured scandals. And my biggest concern about this particular manufactured scandal is that initially, Democrats fell for it, and then they came out on the attack of Ilhan Omar until somehow somebody decided to listen to the tape themselves and say, oh my God, there we have again. Look, when you do this one time, okay, in other words, I screwed up in 2010 with Shirley Sherrod. I learned my lesson in 2010 with Shirley Sherrod. And what I'm saying is, I won't repeat that mistake knowingly again. I think we need to teach other Democrats, and not other Democrats, other people, period, out there, that you cannot fall for these things.
Yes, sir. Quick question. Did you watch Bernie Sanders on Fox News last
No, but
night?
I saw the snippets. You know I'm going to see the snippets now. I couldn't watch the whole thing. I was doing some other stuff. But guess what? Fox News listeners love Medicare for All.
Yeah, I only saw the snippets too. My wife and I, we haven't had cable in 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
All we have is internet and Netflix and stuff. But yeah, we caught some snippets. My mother-in-law, staunch conservative.
Right.
In fact, my wife and I were the only progressives in our family.
Right.
She's got 5 uncles, cousins. Everybody's Republican.
Right.
Even my side of the family, everybody's Republican.
Right.
But yet my mother-in-law texted me last night, oh, Bernie's on Fox.
Yes.
And I was like, well, what's he saying? And she's like, oh, they're asking how we're going to pay for all the free stuff. And I just basically texted back, tax the rich. That's it.
Right.
That's all. I was like, Jeff Bezos is worth what,
$160 billion and no on your back. That's what he's worth.
And Amazon paid how much in federal tax last year?
Zero. In
$0.
fact, I think they got something back.
And she texted back to me, that's not fair.
There you go.
Everybody should pay their fair
Jason,
share.
I got to go, but I want to tell you one thing real quickly, Jason. And that is why they are attacking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That is why they're attacking Rashida Tlaib. That is why they're attacking Ayanna Pressley. That is why they're attacking Ilhan Omar. Because these women are not wards of the plutocracy. They don't owe money to the drug companies. They don't like Cory Booker does. They don't owe their alliance to any of these corporate dollars, so they can tell the truth. The plutocracy, which includes
plenty of truth on Fox.
Right, and they cannot afford that. Got to go, Jason. Thank you so much for calling, brother. Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right. Okay, Johnny, come on in. Línea número 5. Come on in, Johnny.
Egberto, how are you doing today?
I am doing fine. Talk to me.
Hey, I gotta take you to task on the reparations deal.
Talk to me.
I'm actually a little disappointed that you actually have the nerve to be against it.
Okay, go ahead and hit me up, and then I'll talk about it afterwards.
My issue with reparations is this is a necessary development in the history of our country.
Right.
You have to understand that this has been a long time coming.
Right.
And we were very excited to get Barack Obama into the presidency. And it was incredibly disappointing. His presidency was very interesting. I'll give him points for having a scandal-free presidency, which was really helpful because it goes to show you that you can actually be a president without being corrupt,
right,
or having a corrupt administration, even though people try to act like corruption is built into the administrative process, which it is not. But ultimately, this is about what we want to be as a country, because we're evolving. This thing called America is constantly evolving, and we can no longer allow ourselves to be trapped in like a 1950s dogma. In a world that is expanding and changing. And so when I say reparations, now don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here saying, oh yeah, cut people a check.
Right.
But if you sit down and tell me that black people who built this country, who died for this country, descendants of slaves, should be taxed at the same rate as everyone else, I disagree with that.
Okay.
Especially when I factor in redlining, mass incarceration. These things are real, and then you look at why this is being done. And the interesting thing is, and you've had economists on your show before.
Yes,
this is being done to hide the truth. The truth is that capitalism, as we know it, does not work the way
I agree with you. First of all,
works.
There's nothing that you've said, Johnny, that I disagree with. And also with reparations, notice what I told the person before. With reparations, I told him that all those candidates that are talking about reparations are doing nothing but pandering. As far as whether reparations is difficult, as I told James when he called, I said, yes, it's hard to implement because as a Latin American black man in the United States, it's not the United States that would give me reparations. It would have been some other country wherever my forefathers would have been slaves of, or because all black people that came in this.
But remember, Egberto, remember the point of reparations is about creating a fair and equitable society.
And I'm with you, but you didn't let me finish because I don't think you get where I'm going. So my thing isn't about not wanting reparations. My thing is about what you said exactly. What did you tell me and that it's not what you're talking about? You're not talking about cutting a check. You're talking about some sort of a logical way that really makes up for the redlining that occurred, for the free labor that occurred, for all these things that have occurred. It's above my pay grade to know how that is done, okay? But it's above my pay grade. I am not saying I don't want folks to get reparations to not equal to fairize what things are supposed to be, because if you listen to some other shows, you hear me tell people one thing: if you start on third base and I start on home plate, then I can never catch you. And that's the way
Right.
it is. So there has to be a method that mitigates that. I have always said that. I think I've been very consistent in that. Where we may have issues is how that I have issues with is what what reparation is, etc. I don't know what it looks like, and I think that's what James was saying as well.
I agree.
And I think James. So I don't see us as having a real difference here. I believe that you have to mitigate. You have to mitigate things. I don't know how that's done.
Well, here's the thing. I think it can be done a number of different ways. And one of the ways that I would like to see it done is in the form of, like, let's say, scholarships. Now, for example, I love the fact that you've come here from another country and you've been able to carve out a very nice life for yourself in America. That's what it's supposed to be.
Right.
And I love that about America. But I also think it's wrong that the people that have built this country are being left out of it. And the reason why I say that is because they have to put the failure somewhere.
I am with you.
They got to put the failure somewhere, because if they tell the truth that capitalism cannot work with a democracy like this.
Well, read my blogs, brother, because that's exactly what you see day in and day out.
Yes, and I agree with you, and Egberto. I just want to tell you, keep going, brother.
Thank you very much. You have a
Keep
great
going.
day.
Have yourself a great day.
Thank you, brother. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Okay, let's go. Line number 6. Come on in, Wayne.
Hey, good evening, Egberto.
Good evening, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. You're having a great show this evening.
Well, only because of you guys.
I really don't have a whole lot of time from up here trying to work, but I got something to say about Paul Bittencourt, and that example of the young man you just had on was a great example of capitalism and how it works here, and why it shouldn't be. I don't know if you heard Bittencourt supposedly came up with a bill or some kind of thing that he wants to go to the Senate with. They're supposed to cut property taxes here in the state.
Yes, I've heard about that. I mean, the guy who's going to be running for. Well, I can't mention that. I have some information on that, and really, it's a tax increase for all of us. But go ahead.
Yeah, and all of the things that's going on now here in the city of Houston, and the state of Texas, but especially here in the city of Houston, he comes up with this idea he's going to give corporations back taxes, and then turn around and say it's saving the property taxes here. That's not going to pay for our schools or anything like that.
Absolutely right.
These Republicans in this tax cutting scheme has got to go.
Let me
we
tell you,
have to start doing something here about this here.
Wayne, I'm going to have a very important guest on right after the session closes. He ran for an important office, and he knows the numbers, and he's going to tell you guys something that's going to blow your minds.
All right, well, what I need to hear, Egberto, we got to get started here on something.
We are, brother. We are. Thank you very much for calling, Wayne. Anything else you want to say real quickly?
No, go ahead on, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, sir. You have a wonderful day now.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Okay, Sally, come on in, my friend. Come on in, Sally.
Hey, Egberto, how are you today?
All right, talk to me, my friend.
I just want to go back and touch on Ilhan Omar.
Yes.
That it seems in this climate that poor woman can't say anything.
Right.
It's disgusting. It's really. I mean, she made a comment about Notre Dame burning and art and architecture, and they turned and blew that up too. And what really gets me about how everybody is so concerned about a historical monument and this and that, while at the same time we're allowing all the big oil and all these other companies to destroy sacred lands.
Thank you. You know, you get it, Sally. Let me tell you, Sally, what I told, and I'm preaching this to bloggers all over, right? I placed this on Daily Kos and on Op-Ed News and other places, and what I said is we have to step up. You are stepping up in calling and making that known. When you go ahead and talk about the monuments and you equate it with the oil companies, and you did your part, Sally. But let me tell you better. We have to be protecting the backs of these politicians who are putting their necks on the line by stating things and get a voice in stating them. Because what Ilan has, what Ocasio-Cortez has, is each one of them, once they talk, they have a voice that millions hear. We have to be there to protect that voice so that millions can hear it. And in what you're doing as well, when you come on a radio station like this and you make that out and it makes it over our 100,000 watt transmitter to several million people, you've also done your part. So thank you so kindly, Sally.
Great.
You have a wonderful... Anything else you want to say real quickly? I got to go.
No, other than have a great day and thank you. I consider you a mentor because being female, sometimes I tend to get emotional when I speak about things. So you kind of your talking points. I take notes and use that because I mean it's up to us.
Thank
if
you.
If we don't stand up and speak up and start working, they're going to win.
Sally, it's all us together. It is a community, and I really, really mean that for all of you guys that are listening out there. When I talk about it's a community, that's what I mean. We are not going to do this alone, and we need to be each other's backbones when someone is not all that strong, to be there for them, and vice versa. That is how we're going to do it. They depend on fracturing us. We won't let it happen. Thank you so kindly for calling, Sally.
One quick comment, too.
Yes, ma'am.
I really believe that Fox News and their town hall last night backfired.
Yes, it did.
I really thought that they were going to crush Bernie, but
boy,
not going to happen.
Oh my God, what Bernie did! If you listen to Jason earlier, who comes from a family of Republicans, he has a family who now may be voting for Bernie if he made it to the general. Think about that.
That's right.
Thank you so kindly for calling, Sally. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye
bye. Okay, let's go to Mike. Come on in, Mike.
Hey, man.
Talk to me.
I originally called to make a statement about the reparations conversation you were talking about, but I first need to call back on something the Iraqi veteran was talking about,
Jason.
backing the Israelis. Anybody saying that what Ilhan Omar had to say was wrong is just not paying attention.
Right.
Because as soon as Netanyahu gave the order to allow those naval ships to start shelling a beach full of children playing soccer, he should have been tagged by a Navy SEAL team and put in Guantanamo. We should have cut off all their aid and set in the entire First Army to shut that country down.
Mike, you are so
right. Now, that's nothing to do with Jewish people. That has to do with
Netanyahu.
War criminals.
Yes, thank you. I mean, you hit the nail on the head.
Back to the reparations thing.
Yes.
Now, anybody I don't care whether you're African-American, you're Mexican-American, or you're what, anybody who says that we should get some sort of payments without first mentioning Native Americans is just as ignorant and as racist as the white men that gave it to them in the first place.
You know something? When I talk about things being complicated, you've just said something. And I know I've probably thought that before, but I'll be honest with you. You caught me off guard on air, and but what you? No, I'm serious. I know I've thought about.
I love that I caught you off guard.
Let me tell you,
you're always on guard.
Let me tell you something, brother, and let me tell you why I'm telling you that, because that is so true. That statement, while I was talking to all the other callers that spoke about reparations. It doesn't have to be it's not a disagreement of having reparation for black folk and having reparation for Japanese who were interned and all of that. But what you've just said is something that people ought to keep in the back of their heads as well.
The reparations ought to be that we just make it equal for the people who are downtrodden.
We said,
we should target communities that are poor. And disadvantaged. And we should bring them up to the middle level. And we should target the communities that are at the very top, and we should bring them down closer to the middle level.
Mike, you know something? Like I was telling the caller before, that it is, Johnny I think I was talking to before, that it is a complicated and difficult thing, and that is what I mean. And I'm not gonna come up with great opinions on
Let's just
air.
help all the poor people, regardless of their color or their race.
Well, that part everybody agrees with. I'm positive everybody agrees with that.
And let's target the obscenely rich people because they are a danger to humanity. Anybody that has more than $5 or $10 billion
it's crazy.
can end the human race if they decide they want to.
Thank you for calling, Mike. You're a great guy. Got to go. Let's see. Tori, come on in. Tori, last call.
Okay, so I think the first thing we need to do to repair the legacy of slavery is to flatten out the economic and the political hierarchy that created it in the first place. first thing, you got to stop the bleeding, you know. First thing the ambulance does, they stop the bleeding, then you go to the hospital and you figure out what kind of surgery to do or whatever.
Right.
The hierarchy is reinforced every day. Social disequilibrium is enforced big time by the tuition system at public universities. We need to start with general social leveling, raise the minimum wage, expand Medicare, public nonprofit banks. We need to make interest-free loans for modest home mortgages and small business startups. We need to do a general leveling before we do the microsurgery necessary to compensate slave descendants. Then there's Africa. You know,
real quick, Tori.
So, you know, it's an international thing. It's not just the U.S., and it's a class thing. And, you know, if we don't get rid of the system that created the hierarchy, which impelled and created slavery, you know, you're still going to have a disequilibrium system.
You know something? You just said something that is so important because it was also said by a professor, economist on my show 2 days ago. So, I mean, that equilibrium that you're talking about and the economic system of how this stuff got created and how this disequilibrium occurred is correct. I have one more call that I have to take, so I got to let you go, Tori, but thank you so kindly for calling, my friend.
You bet.
You have a good one. Okay, last call for real. Come on in. Whoops. I guess we lost that call. I don't know that we're going to have enough time to take that one back, but I still have a minute and a half or so to go. So what I'd like to tell you guys, first of all, is I ultimately have, Lupita, I may be prejudiced here, but I think I have the best listeners, bar none. These folks are so informed, they know what's going on, and they keep me on my P's and Q's, don't you think?
Yeah, and those lines were crazy the whole show. They were full.
Yeah, but you know, and I love it because these guys are great because you can see that they're into the subject. Now, think about this. If we can keep the attention, if we can keep people engaged, we can really get that change that we're talking about.
The change for my generation?
The change for your generation. But you know what? I am serious about that.
Yeah.
I sit down and let me tell you, there are times that there's a guilt that hits me. And I mean, this is a genuine guilt because I hear people say, we got about a minute left, right? I hear people say the following, Lupita. It's like, you know, when I was people my age, when I was your age, I was doing X, Y, and Z. Why are you still at home or whatever? And I'm like, because we filled them up with debt. Because we
Trust
did
me,
this.
I hear that from my parents.
And you know, so I sit down there and I'm there saying, I understand. My daughter, she's 27. I call her a spoiled 27-year-old, right? And then some people say, well, why do you do that? And I'm like, well, you know, we are the ones who did it. We are the ones who created the environment that allowed that, both from the way we went ahead and believed in supply side economics and pilfered the entire middle class. We did all of this, Lupita. So we are coming down to the last 20 seconds, and I want to tell my great, dear, beautiful, wonderful listeners, thank you kindly for being a part of the Politics Done Right family. Please remember to go to kpft.org, support the station. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I end this baby. It goes like this. I am out.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.
1, 2, 3, 4.